Welcome to the Ultimate Maui 6-day itinerary. If you love to travel and you spend your entire stay sitting at your resort and never exploring anything around you, this itinerary is not for you. We did none of that except on our arrival day because we weren't sure how long it would take us to get our rental car, get checked in. So we had downtime before dinner, and that was the only time we just sat around the resort, not doing anything. So this is how to squeeze in all of Maui's highlights in less than a week. Day 1, arrival day. We specifically planned our flights to get in the earliest flight possible and leaving the latest flight possible. So got in early, got our rental car, got lunch, went over to the resort, checked in, room was ready by then, and I just, make this a free day. So that way, if there's any sort of delays with your flight, with the rental car, with whatever, that, nothing is affected. So for starters, this was kind of your first view. You get the Aloha Welcome to Maui there at the airport. They have this little trolley car that will take you over to like the rental car pickup. And this was our first kind of view outside. It was February, so it was kind of off and on rainy, somewhat warm. It was kind of cold to be in the pool, but it was still nice enough to be like outside, like in a swimsuit. The hot tub was very crowded at the resort. Everyone was in the hot tub, even all the kids, even though it said no children allowed. So once we got our rental car, first thing we did was go grab lunch. We went to Tin Roof Maui. They're known for their cow tins, which is just kind of a little bowl that you build kind of like at Chipotle or something, but you can choose it's a bowl of rice and cabbage, and then you choose your protein. You can also swap out the rice for like brown rice, kale, garlic noodles, different things like that. During this visit, we got the garlic shrimp cow tin, and we just did regular like white rice and cabbage. And then we just got a side of garlic noodles and then a side of macaroni salad. So all of that was enough for 2 people to split. It was very delicious. So good. We even went back later to try some more things because we wanted to try everything, but did not want to just like stuff ourselves immediately. After lunch, we went over to Costco actually. We went to get the mineral sunscreen since in Maui, the normal typical sunscreen that people use is banned there because it is not reef safe. So you have to use a mineral sunscreen there. So we figured we would just buy it once we got there because Costco's prices are fairly reasonable, and they sell everything in higher quantity. So we knew it would be like enough sunscreen, and then it would be enough to take home with us too. So we did that, and then we also got chocolate chip muffins and croissants just in a little bakery box just to have something available to us to have like in the room for like breakfast or late night snack, or if we're doing like scenic drives or something, that we just always have something available and aren't relying on having to go out to eat every time you just want like a bite of something. We also got a case of bottled water as well, and just from there checked into the resort and hung out there. For dinner, we went to Paia Fish Market. I had done tons and tons of research in like all the Facebook groups of everything everyone was recommending when going to Maui. And this seafood pasta in particular was like the most popular thing. But then we also got the calamari, which looks like little fish, not fish sticks. I guess they look like fish sticks too. And I guess they technically are fish sticks. They look like mozzarella sticks, which was interesting. I had never seen that anywhere else, and I've never seen it anywhere since either. But these were delicious and just very like good quality. And just getting the seafood pasta dish and the calamari was enough for us to share. Day 2, normally I would recommend doing the sunrise tour for Haleakala National Park since it's easier to acclimate with the time change. But because we went in February, ours got canceled from having snow up there, so inclement weather. So we ended up just doing a self-guided drive later on. So you could do that here and just push everything down a day and flip it with when we do it at the very end of the trip. Or just not even particularly plan to do that and plan to do the self-guided tour like we did. But day 2, we did the Road to Hana full. This is a 12+ hour day. Most people just go to Hana and back. I recommend taking the full loop all the way around as long as the weather permits and the roads aren't washed out. What we did is use the Shaka Guide self-guided audio driving tour app. It works just like your GPS, except it just talks to you the whole time about everything that you're seeing, everywhere to stop, different stuff like that. And that way you can kind of do it at your own pace, do the stops you want to do, skip the stops you don't. And this links here to Viator where you can buy that. You can get the individual tour that you want to do, but the individual ones are like $20 a piece, or the bundle for the whole island of all the tours is like $35. So I think we did 3 different scenic driving tours, so it's obviously significantly cheaper to just buy the bundle and use the ones you need rather than buy them all individually. But I do have a post with like every little detail of every single stop we did on the road to Hana, and then this video here also shows all of that. For dinner, by the time we made it back to Lahaina, which is where the tour kind of loops back around to, is we went to Down the Hatch, and we got this lobster and crab grilled cheese sandwich, and that was actually enough for us. On this Road to Hana itinerary, it shows you some of the different places to stop and have lunch. Near Hana, there's like a little food truck park. Also along the route, there are like banana nut bread stands and smoothie stands. So those are the things that I recommend eating during the day on that trip. Day 3, start off with the guided cacao farm tour and chocolate tasting. This is the largest chocolate factory in all of Hawaii. They take you out to the cacao farm, show you how they harvest it and turn it into chocolate, and then you go up into this tree house and you get to taste a variety of their chocolates, and it's just really nice and scenic and just like a fun little activity that most people don't really think to do, and you get to eat chocolate. Here are the little chocolate squares that we tried. They had milk chocolate, dark chocolate. They had different like fruit infused ones like guava and mango. So a little bit of everything. After that, we went to lunch at Miso Fat Sushi, and it has been featured on Diners, Drive-Ins, and Dives, the show that Guy Fieri does. We tried the Miso Fat roll and the 69 roll. I don't do anything crazy with sushi, so that's why this is just like a California roll. And I don't do spicy, so JP had the spicy one. But this is what they look like. It's decent sized for sure. This was very delicious. Highly recommend. I would have tried more for sure, but we weren't sure how full we would be from it, and we had already done like the chocolate taste. So yeah, this is a really great spot to go to. And then spend the rest of the day doing the West Maui Coastline Scenic Drive. So it's basically like doing the Road to Hana, just on the opposite side of the island. It's quite a bit of a shorter experience. Again, you have the self-guided audio driving tour that takes you around, and it's a lot less visited things. Lots of little bays and alcoves for like snorkeling. They have a state park with a short trail and different things like that. That one's really fun. This video has everything that we did for that. And then for dinner, when we circled back to Lahaina, we went to Star Noodle. They had this hapa ramen bowl, garlic noodles, and tempura shrimp. I had garlic noodles pretty much every single day. I absolutely love them. They're so delicious if you've never tried them. Day 4, this is a little bit of a rest day now. This was our actual anniversary day on this trip. So we woke up and didn't have anything immediately planned, but once we were ready to go, we went down to Front Street to just explore the shops. I got my dress for the luau that we were going to, and I got a little flower hair clip. I got my pineapple Dole Whip, and we just kind of, you know, roamed around to just kind of see what kind of stuff was in the gift shops and things like that. I do have a link here. This goes to a post on some inspiration for what to wear if you're going to go to a luau. For the afternoon, we did a whale watching excursion. We did the deluxe one with Pac Whale Eco Adventures. It included lunch and drinks, which was nice. They had like pork sliders and brownies and a couple little appetizers. It was like chips and maybe some like bruschetta or something. It's in this video. It has all the different things that we had. And then for dinner, we did the luau. Ours was a smaller like private luau. Our resort had booked us at the Royal Lahaina Luau. And when we had been walking around that day in Lahaina, some guide or like visitor center type person was like talking to us, and we had said we were going to the luau, and they're like, oh, that luau was yesterday, they don't have one tonight. And I'm like, well, here's our confirmation. And they're like, well, you should check with your hotel. So we checked with the resort, and they were like, oh yeah, our bad, we will put you somewhere else. And I was like, it was our actual anniversary, so like I knew exactly what date this was supposed to be booked for, and like that was not messed up. Our confirmation showed it was that exact date, but there was none. So they moved us over to this more like private luau, which I feel like I kind of got the vibe it's like they have this secondary luau for like everyone that got messed up on others. Like that they couldn't make it to their other one for whatever reason, or something was overbooked. So I think they just put on this one as like a overflow for everyone that didn't get to do theirs, is what it seemed like to me. But it was a perfectly fine luau. Like I honestly think I enjoyed this experience more than I would have like the bigger ones. What was nice, they did have a professional photographer to take sunset photos, and then this video here shows all the different foods and drinks we had and a little bit of the luau performance. Day 5, slept in again this day. For lunch, we went to Bubblegum Shrimp Company in Lahaina. I usually stay away from chain restaurants when traveling unless it's something I don't have at home. But if you sign up for the Landry Select Club, it's the ones that do Bubblegum Shrimp Company, Rainforest Cafe, some other, like the Yak and Yeti restaurant at Disney World, a ton of other stuff. When you sign up, it's $25 to join, but then they give you the $25 back in credit to come back later. And then every year on your birthday, they send you another $25. Even if you don't eat at a single restaurant the whole year, it's just automatic. You automatically get it. So because JP's birthday had been like a couple weeks before, we had this $25 reward to use. We're like, might as well use it for just a, quick little meal at Bubba Gump. So we got a drink, the shrimp sampler, and some mac and cheese. We were trying to get like just to that $25 mark, just to have a free meal. A lot of states, you can't use the reward towards alcohol, but some places you can. I don't recall if Maui was one of those or not, and that might be one of those things that changes over time too. That's the only thing to keep in mind with that. But it's good if you plan, because the $25 reward is only good for like a month or two from your birthday month. So if you plan your trip somewhere around your birthday, once you have that $25 reward, that's a free meal for you when you go on your trip. Vegas in particular has a ton of Landry's restaurants that are like outside the norm, where it's like they don't have any other locations like that anywhere. So they do have unique restaurants. They're not all these same ones that are in every tourist destination. After that, we went to Napili Bay for just kind of, this was our one just kind of like beach afternoon to just kind of lay out and enjoy the beach. It was a very nice little walkway. You just see how the water changes colors as it goes out. It's a very nice coastline, very calm, pristine, not busy, anything like that. And then for dinner, we had our sunset dinner cruise. This one had a little bit of everything. Our resort organized this for free for us, and I did like that this was on like our last full day of our trip. So we had, I believe this was a Mai Tai and a mojito salad, these appetizers like bruschetta. This was, I think it's listed out in this post here. This links to the full post about the sunset dinner cruise. It lists out what all this stuff was, but we each got like a full plate of all of this stuff. So this was like fish, steak, veggies, chocolate truffle, cheesecake. This was like a cucumber stuffed with like cream cheese. So it was all very good food. Drinks were unlimited, but we each only had one because we were like, that's sufficient. Like, I'm eating a whole dinner. Like, I'm not gonna, fill up on drinks. I want to like enjoy the food and try the food. And if you're on a boat, you probably don't want to overindulge. Day 6. So this was the last day. We got a flight that was 11:30 p.m. What was unfortunate is that when we had booked the trip, these were direct flights, and then last minute, I don't know if it was when we were already there or right before we were leaving for the trip, they had changed it that we were flying to San Francisco first and then back down to LA. So that was kind of annoying, but our flight was still leaving at 11:30 p.m. and that was the important part, is that we just wanted the last flight out so we could get the most of our time. So we had to check out of our hotel sometime around 10 or 11. So then we had to find things to do with our day. So first thing we did was some mini golf. This was over at the harbor that we did the whale watching and the sunset dinner cruise. It's a very cute little course, and they even have this spinning wheel where you can play with like handicaps or like it gives you advantages and things like that. They have other stuff too, like a rock wall, bumper boats, and like an arcade. We just did mini golf. For lunch, that it's kind of like an outdoor strip mall shopping center type thing where the whale watching harbor is and all of that stuff. There's some restaurants around there. We ate at one there. They happened to close soon after. We just had like a pork nacho. It was like Irish nachos, but like with a Hawaiian flair. But that place closed, so I don't have necessarily a recommendation for that area in particular. But this here links to like all of the top restaurants that we do recommend. So if you didn't try any of the others, this is a good time to go to them. Then we spent the rest of the day doing the Haleakala National Park Summit Drive. Since again, we were supposed to do it day 1 and it got canceled because of snow on top of the mountain. So instead we did the Summit Drive ourselves and did it for sunset. And this video shows that whole experience. And then for dinner, we went back to Tin Roof, and this time, instead of the garlic shrimp cow cow tin, we got the steak cow cow tin. We still got garlic noodles, and then we also tried their root beer because it is like a local handcrafted one. Root beer is really the only soda that I drink. I don't like any others, so I love trying, unique ones. And then from there, we just, returned the rental car, checked into the airport, and that was our trip. I recommend staying at Kaanapali Beach Club. From the airport, it takes about 45 minutes to get there. It's right next to Lahaina, so most of the resorts are kind of going to be in this region. What we like about it is that for the price of a standard hotel room, you're getting basically a 1-bedroom apartment. So a full kitchen, jacuzzi tub, separate like living space, which is really nice. Here's some photos from it. You can see the croissants and the muffins that we got. And then this was the view from our room. And this was the jacuzzi tub that we had in the bathroom. Okay, that was odd. So it was showing before the Maui's Finest Luau photo here. So I went to go into the back end of the blog post to put it to this. But when I went to check it, this is what was there. And so then when I refreshed the page, it came up right. So I don't know what happened there. But this video here has a room tour and a little bit around the resort as well, so you can get an idea of what it looked like. And that's everything I have for this 6-day Maui itinerary. If you want some ideas for free things to do, if you just put in your email address here, it will email you a PDF download. This way you can either save money in some areas to splurge on others or just save more money altogether, but that's all I have.